My name is Luigi Reggi. I work at the Department for Cohesion Policy in Italy, which is the department that coordinates the implementation of structural funds, European structural funds in Italy. And today I will tell you some stories and some preliminary results of an independent initiative, which is called Monitor from Monitoring Marathon, Citizen Monitoring Marathon, which has the aim of collecting data and information on how the cohesion policy, the cohesion projects and the European funded projects are progressing and which kind of results are delivering. We started from a typical public policy problem. So the lack of, we believe that the lack of transparency on how public money is spent is one of the main reasons for kind of a slow pace and that we are experimenting in Italy in implementing the cohesion policy and also in the understanding of whether the projects that are actually implemented respond actually to the local demand in, for example, in the provision of new services and in improving the quality of life of people. And this is particularly kind of hot topic in Italy because Italy is the third biggest beneficiary of EU policies and has this particularly low absorption rate, and there's a kind of a animated debate on which the cohesion policy has actually generated positive effects on the local economy or not. So the monitoring marathon that we introduced and we launched in September 2013 has precisely this aim to try with new kind of use of open data, of transparency data on the use of public funding to let people see and test and verify what kind of results and impact the European projects have delivered so far. And monitoring in particular is based on a governmental portal that is called Open Coesione, which means open cohesion. And the next slide. Open Coesione is a web portal that was launched in 2012 and covers more than 700,000 funded projects worth a total of 75 billion euros for the period 2007-2013, and includes all the European funding, structural funds, and the national funds for cohesion. An example is the province of Naples. We can find all the data visualized through interactive visualizations, infographics. So you can browse all for example, the topics that includes the digital agenda, the energy, environment, education, innovation, and so on. And moreover, we find that for each individual projects co-funded by the European Union, we have this web page in which we can find out what is funded, so the title and the description of the project, who is involved, so all the local and national actors that are planning or implementing the action, the time schedule, and the funds, so all the details about the various kind of funding of the projects and the level of progression. So, for example, in this case, 33% is a measure of how the expenses of the projects are progressing. So this is this this open data, this data are a basis for what we call citizen monitoring of European projects. Public agencies that publishes their administrative data on an open data portal such as Open-Cohesione or recovery.gov in the United States, or similar exercises, can let people and enable new monitoring, bottom-up monitoring exercises from the citizen that can find out where the projects are and can visit physically the seeds of the projects and verify through interviews or taking photographs or videos if the projects are good or not, if they respond to their needs or not. And they can collect data that are qualitative but also quantitative. And the monitoring experience in particular, we think that is in a kind of a Middle Earth environment, because it's not a completely top-down exercise, a top-down project, because it was just conceived by some members of the Open-Cohesione team from the ministry and presented to the open data community, so the communities at the local level, and then developed completely independently. But it's not totally bottom-up, because the fact that was initiated by a governmental actor has led to kind of a good, reputation of the project within the public sphere. And in particular, monitoring includes a tool. So it is a tool, indeed. It is a website with a map in which all the projects that are selected by the users among the whole set of Open-Cohesione projects are mapped, are georeferenced, and then it includes all the those little circle in green are citizen user-generated monitoring reports. So reports that are made by the users, usually in a group. So there are a group of users, a group of communities that are that do this job together. And we also have a toolkit. So we have a common methodology. So the data that are collected are somehow comparable. And we have a blog for storytelling and exchanging of tips and tricks and so on. Monitoring is a tool, but it's also a set of active civic communities. We have involved in the last few months some very active and very proactive local communities. For example, Akubari, which is a newly born association based in Bari, that is devoted to citizen monitoring, and also existing with other local communities with a longer history, such as Mobilita Palermo, which is focused on local transportation and mobility in the city of Palermo. But also we involved some big national association or international associations, such as ActionAid or Libera, which is the main Italian anti-mafia association, the network of the Europe Direct from the European Commission, and other governmental projects such as Open Pompeii, Scuola di Open-Cohesione, and so on. Mm-hmm. All these associations are, as you can see, very different goals and very different scopes and dimensions, but all have share this common tools and common methods that they apply to their monitoring activities. We can see very briefly, a map of existing communities that are concentrated particularly in the southern Italy, just because the cohesion projects and funds are concentrated in those regions, and so there is 80% of total funding and projects are there. So it's very important to be there and see what's happening. And this is an example of our toolkit. We have various steps that everyone can follow. One of them is to produce from the bottom up a custom form, a custom questionnaire, depending on the kind of project that we are visiting. So, for example, for the local transportation, we have a questionnaire that asks some specific questions about the quality of the service and the noise, the pollution from the infrastructures and so on. Then this marathon, so this visit to the project can have different phases that are connected to the status of the project. If the project, the first step is always the project selection. So we select the most interesting projects from quantitative analysis, or more commonly by the interest of the people that are taking part to the visit. But we also have different phases that starting from the ex ante phase, if the project is yet on paper, so it's not begun. The next phase is a monitor that we call in itinere, measuring the progress of the project, and then the ex post evaluation, if you can say, in which the citizens are measuring the results of the project and the outcomes or the impact of the project. We have some example. The first is about project selection. In the case of, for example, this is the Ilva, the production site of steel in Taranto, that was highly debated in the last few months. In this case, we have done data journalism, workshop in which we analyzed and we mapped all the projects that are related to the environmental topic in the area, and we found that all the projects are concentrating on the center of the city and not in the areas near the Ilva plant, for example. And so we identified some projects that are interesting to be visited by the citizen. Another example is the Palermo metro track. Some people in Palermo have done an extensive investigation about the project, the history of the projects, interviewing the experts, and involving people that are living there and telling them and asking them if the track has a correct path or not, and taking suggestions from local stakeholders and so on, in order to plan the future project in the best way possible. While another phase is the in itinere monitor. This is an example in which we involve the Libera Association to map and to crowdsource all the ideas and data that they have and we have on the assets that are confiscated to local mafia. So the houses or other kind of physical and assets that were previously owned by local mafia and then are part of the public, that are owned by everyone, because they are now at disposal of everyone and should be used for new kind of services, social services, and so on. While the last example is the test of an existing infrastructure. So this is, for example, the light metro, so-called in Sassari, and we physically went and took the metro and take note about the quality of service and the time schedule and similar things. So in conclusion, we can say that the citizen monitoring, we called it as slow hacking, so a form of hacking the way of in which public policy is now implemented, in which the citizen self can have a voice, can raise their voices and suggest new ways in which public policy can be planned, can be implemented. And this required an intense activity of study, observation, reporting, and this can lead to a new kind of, if you want, maybe elitarian way of participating to the public debate. But we think that it's a very useful way to collect good ideas from people, even if it's not so representative. But they could be a way to provide a kind of fresh air to the way that we make decision right now in the public policy sphere. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, I'm here. I'm glad to respond.